It's time to find out. They come off the turn. Looks like a good start to me. We're racing! The Clubman final is underway, and Craig Summers already trying to slot himself into the inside line. Good start from Sam Baker, tucked up behind Cardwell. Good aggressive line from Ben Spencer. As they tuck through, he's going to be in third position. No, Craig Summers gets there on the exit of Willows into third place. And it looks as though there's mechanical problems already for Alan Woodrow. Will he be able to continue, or is he going to pull off the road? He does continue on, but I'm not sure how long his race is going to last. Baker is already giving it full guns to Cardwell. He knows that he's got to try and catch and pass him quickly because Cardwell will disappear and hide if he gets half a chance. So Cardwell leads the race, but he does not want Baker to get anywhere near him on this opening tour. If he can start to stretch out a gap, then he's already got a very good chance of wrapping up this race nice and early. So Cardwell, Baker, Summers. Then it's Spencer, Bird, Hinton, Rogers, Jones, Halaki, Yap, Crisp and Arnold. Packman is there next up. Matt Parker doing a great job ahead of Michael Whitaker, Richard Sturdy and Declan Shanahan in the classic class. So still they race on. Alan Woodrow is still going around at the moment, so hopefully it stays that way. The battle raging with Sam Baker is just doing his best to catch up to Matthew Cardwell, but he just can't quite get close enough. This is the thing, Cardwell just charges out with a few qualifying laps in the early phase of the race, and that's enough to decimate the rest of the field. He just can't quite get close enough to Cardwell, but he needs to. He needs to make good use of this early start. Craig Summers going well in third position. This is all about Sam Baker trying to chip in to Cardwell. He needs to get him nice and early and then back him into the pack. That's the only way, really, that Cardwell is going to be stoppable. But Sam Baker is throwing everything he can at it. But he needed to get him earlier than this, really. He needed to go for a move a bit earlier on in the field. But it's tough to find that opportunistic moment. You're never quite going to get it when you want it either. The opportunity just falls away at exactly the wrong moment. So hopefully the battles will continue. The challenges will roll on. But this is going to be such a tough battle for Craig Summers as well. He's there in third position. He'd quite like to move up another one at least, maybe two, if he can get the chance. Here's Spencer and Bird battling away together. Spencer doing a good job. Bird is not quite close enough to him in the Stowe corner, so they go through the Willows. And still the race rages on, and still the battle continues as Matthew Cardwell, 43.89 with a new fastest lap. This is not looking achievable at the moment for Sam Baker. He could really do with some raindrops out on the circuit now to really change things up. But Craig Summers is there in third position going with them. Only the top three still running well. We've got yellow flags down at the hairpin by the look of it. Not entirely sure what's happened, but we've got a yellow flag there. Someone's pulled off the circuit. That's why. As up the inside, that is a move from Rogers. Rogers gets the run on Bird and gets through into fifth position. We've got a cart stopped down on the circuit. I think that is the 81 of Matt Parker. So Matt Parker is trying to start his kart again, and that is a real shame because Matt Parker was the favorite to win the classic class. So Matt Parker from pole position, and now he's out. What a shame. So Matt Parker is there at the side of the road. You'll probably just about see him as they come through. He's trying to start the kart, but I'm afraid he's had to pull it off the road. So Matt Parker is now out of the race. That is a real shame. So the three leaders come through in fine style. The battle for fourth place is raging. There is Matt Parker sat on the sidelines. Rogers is going for Spencer. Three wide into Stowe corner. Here they come. And up the inside, that is going to be Halaki. Will Halaki gets them both. Excellent bit of racecraft there. So Will Halaki into fourth position. Spencer on the inside of Rogers. Rogers goes late on the brakes and holds the kart through the slide. Well, that retirement from Matt Parker in the final after a brilliant run this weekend, devastating as it is, that now hands the lead of the Classics to Richard Sturdy, and he is having a terrific squabble with Michael Whitaker. So the Classic race is going to go down to the wire by the look of it. And the Classics race is not that far away from the leading pack. That is the 70 of Alex Jones battling away there with Scott Hinton. And there's the 19, Will Halaki, hoping to try and catch up to the leading trio. Fair play to Baker and Summers. They are trying to stay with Cardwell as much as possible. Cardwell not really banging in fastest laps the way he was. Maybe that, or he's just holding it back a little bit, just trying to accelerate when the time is right to move a little bit further forward. which would definitely throw a little bit of a spanner into the works for the guys chasing them down. But so far, so good for Matthew Cardwell. He's been the class of the field in Clubman this weekend. Nothing's been too much for him. Even when he lost the lead briefly in the pre-final in the wet conditions, he's been able to fight his way back and extend a massive lead over Sam Baker in second and Craig Summers in third. And now the two drivers are working their magic. Summers actually got second in the pre-final. Baker was third, but because of the way they've ended up on this starting grid, Baker was the one who got the better start initially from Craig Summers. So is there going to be a chance now for Baker or Summers to get on terms with Cardwell? There's a slow kart in front of them. That is the 72 of Woodrow. So Woodrow gets out of the way. No hesitation there from the classic driver, so fair play to him. But that is an opportunity for Baker, and he can sense it. He's going to try and close up on Cardwell into the first turn. And still Baker throwing everything he can at Matthew Cardwell's rear bumper. Just trying to stay with him here. So easy to let him drift away and just to jog on a pace, especially with the kind of speed that we've seen from Cardwell all weekend long. It's not easy. So he's really got to work his magic and work his pace throughout. But this is definitely not what was written in the cards for the race leader. He didn't want Baker or Summers to be quite so close to him in this final. He wanted to stretch out a lead and disappear, and he's just not been able to do that. So I wonder if Baker has had a trick up his sleeve in terms of tyre pressures. Summers is just trying to stay with them both. A great recovery drive from Will Halaki. He is now in 4th position from having originally started 10th. So Will Halaki still with a chance here, as Matt O'Farrell has retired from the race. So Matt O'Farrell, I'm afraid, is out of the race as well now. He has pulled off in his machine in the Clubman class. So Matt O'Farrell, who was at the back of the field anyway and who had got some mechanical problems, there was some more, I'm afraid. So his race is now over. Here's Cardwell, Baker and Summers, 1, 2 and 3. Halaki in the background, Rogers there as well with him, 5th place. It's now going to be down to these three to decide the fate of the Clubman final. And there's been some excellent performances from the Clubmans over the years. Only Sam Baker and James Mills have won the final in Clubman before. It's only a fairly recent addition to the festival is the Clubman final. So it's going to be a very interesting finish off to proceedings as Baker and Mills are looking forward to a fabulous end to their battles. But now we are going to see just how tight it is. Can Cardwell stretch out the gap? He's starting to now. He's really starting to jog on the pace now. He has stepped up the tempo, I've noticed. Fastest first sector of the entire race. Last lap was the fastest lap, 43.68. So now Cardwell is just kicking himself into gear, just pushing on. Baker and Summers are going to struggle to keep up with him at this pace. A bit like when you watch marathon runners, when they start to really kick into tow and they start to really build on their own ability and they really kick themselves up a gear. That is exactly what Cardwell is doing. He knows that Baker and Summers are there. He's been lulling them into a false sense of security for these last 5-6 laps or so, making them think, maybe I can get him, maybe I can get him. Just doing enough to keep the kart in the road at the front end of the field, Cardwell. But now he's really opening it up. The gap has opened up to a second on Sam Baker, and it really doesn't need to be any more than that. But Cardwell is just giving himself the breathing space to not have to worry about Sam Baker. It looks as though we are going to have a third different Clubman winner to join the TKM Roll of Honor. Sam Baker did it in 2018. He's trying to do it again here in second place, of course. James Mills got the job done in 2019. Sadly, he's not racing this year. And last year, of course, we had a dreaded cancellation through COVID-19. However, we're back here this season, and it's up to Matthew Cardwell to finish it off in style. And I have to say, there's not going to be many drivers this weekend who will claim a clean sweep. Matthew Cardwell might be the only driver to get it done. Pole position in time qualifying. Heat 1, win. Heat 2, win. Heat 3, win. Pre-final, win. Can he get it done in the final now as well? So Matthew Cardwell streaking away. The gap has now opened up to 1.4 seconds. Baker's pushing hard. Craig Summers is too. But they just can't deal with the pace. It's just been such a strong weekend for Matthew Cardwell in terms of one-lap speed. Good battle going on further back there, you can see. Jones, Spencer and Bird having a nice little tussle for 6th position. Then you've got in 9th place, that is Scott Hinton in front of Jack Crisp and James Arnold. Ben Packman, look back and here is that squabble. Ready? Avanti! And you've got 3 of them all scrapping away for position now. Alex Jones at the front of it. Spencer is next. Then it's Tom Bird in the 97. So when is Bird going to make his bid on Spencer? You can't just focus on the leaders. There's a great battle going on in the midfield as well. 52 is in there. That is Hinton. So Bird is having his look on the inside of Spencer. Won't go for the big lunge there. So it's not going to be a very easy one to get the overtaking move on someone as talented as Ben Spencer. He's going to hold his nerve. But here comes the move on the inside from Tom Bird into Derricks. Beautiful. That'll do nicely. Thank you very much indeed for the memories, and good night, says Tom Bird. Now he's going to step up the attack and go after Alex Jones. A top 6 finish would be very good indeed for Tom Bird. You can't win them all, but you can certainly push for the maximum. And I think if Tom Bird is right with himself, 6th is about the maximum that he can do with the package there. 22, Jim Rogers is a little bit too far away with the amount of time we've got left. So I think we're going to have to settle for that. Well, possibly, if Jim Rogers doesn't keep pushing it that hard and then lose the back end of the cart like that. He was able to get the cart stopped and hold it all together. Now, an interesting dynamic that's building here. Craig Summers has realised that Sam Baker can't keep up with Matthew Cardwell. The gap has opened up to 2.2 seconds now, and Summers thinks, hello, you can't get the win, and neither can I by the look of it, but I can get second, so I'm going for it. And so Sam Baker, former Clubman Festival winner back in 2018, is going to try and shake off Craig Summers in the battle for 2nd place. But Summers is swarming around all over the back of Sam Baker now, with just over a whisker over 2 minutes, plus the additional lap to go. Summers is stepping up the attack. This is where we're going to see some great banter between these two on track. Summers closing up. Very conservative on the brakes, in through the chicane, back out of Derricks, and up on the power again, towards the Dan Weldon double apex. Into the right, follow the cart round. It effectively works like a hairpin, those 2 apexes, which is why it's called Dan Weldon Corner, rather than the Dan Weldon Corners. Out of Kestrel into Kimbolton. Craig Summers getting closer all the time. Down the main straight. Matthew Cardwell's got one hand on the victory trophy for this. However, Craig Summers could still upset the party for Sam Baker in 2nd. And Summers knows he's got a chance of this. Through the right, through the left. Up towards the chicane, down the Imitsu straight. And into Derricks. Still Sam Baker holds the line. Cardwell is a decent 3 seconds or so ahead of them now. But this is going to be very interesting to see if Craig Summers can get Sam Baker rattled here and make his move. Will Halaki is even starting to chip into them as well. So Will Halaki is trying to charge his forward. Sam Baker still holding it from Summers, but he's getting a little bit nervous, a little bit pensive. The last couple of laps of racing now. I think we're going to have 2 laps to go after this one rather than 1 lap to go because of when Cardwell came across the line. I think this is going to be a 20-lap race. Sorry, I think it's going to be a 21-lap race even. But there are 3 drivers now questing over the 2 places on the podium beneath Matthew Cardwell's winning rostrum. Baker's there in 2nd, Summers is there in 3rd, but watch out, boys, because Will Halaki is not done yet. Halaki is still pushing, and the Classics are having an exceptional battle at the moment. Sturdy and Whittaker are having a terrific race for the victory. They've managed to get a lap clear now of Declan Shanahan, but Whittaker versus Sturdy is getting very hectic as they battle for position. They're about a few corners up the road from the lead battle or the 2nd place battle, I should say, in the Clubman's race. But Michael Whittaker is ahead of Richard Sturdy. There's Will Halaki. There was only about 0.4 of a second between Whittaker and Sturdy at the line. Shanahan is the other driver in that mix. The timer's ticked down to 0, and look how close Will Halaki has got to Craig Summers. Summers is getting very close to Baker. So there's going to be another lap or so of the battle in the Classics race as well. It's going to be Whittaker versus Sturdy for the victory, but 3 men are going to try and get 2nd place in the Clubman main race final. Final lap begins and Cardwell is well clear. Here's that Classic battle. And we could see that Sturdy He's not far away from Whitaker at all, and he's going to have another lap, I think. I don't think Cardwell is going to lap them in time. So that could be a very interesting race battle to the line. Halaki sets the fastest lap. He wants to be on the podium, and he's in the kind of mood where he could charge forward on this final tour. Final lap battles everywhere you look. He's setting up a move on Summers. Summers knows he's there. So this could be the charge forward from Halaki. Summers is protecting. They've got a cart to get past. They get past Shanahan. Can Halaki throw it up the inside in the hairpin? He's going to come from the long way round to streak out. Cardwell gets the victory. Cardwell wins. He gets the Clubman victory. Second for Baker, third for Summers, fourth for Halaki.